This is 100x Gaming on the 100x podcast. We are doing a really unique episode today. We've got Anton from Moonray for a quick episode of Behind the Screen. You hear us talk with CEOs all the time. You hear us talk with maybe like the tokenomics guys. You hear us speak to marketing directors, but rarely do we sit down with the developers themselves, who are the guys actually building the games, to have a conversation about what it's like behind the screen on the other side, to see what maybe you're not seeing as a player and as a user. So we are getting deep today with Anton. Welcome, man. Do you want to real quickly just introduce Moonray for anyone that doesn't know your game and then what you do at Moonray?
Yes, thank you. So hello, everybody. My name is Anton, and I'm a development producer of the Moonray. So basically, my work is to get the team running, and focus the team, develop the game vision, and provide you the best as possible product, the best as possible game. And what is Moonray? Moonray is a real game in the Web3 market. We're developing really cool, really fun game about melee and ranged combat in the surreal, post-human, Moebius style like sci-fi art style world. So if you want real fun, quick, engaging, and competitive combats with deep melee and ranged mechanics, go to us.
Before we dig into everything this episode has to offer, we want to highlight the awesome partners who sponsor this podcast and make it possible for us to work full-time on 100x. They're legends, and we appreciate them for supporting us. Let's talk about Reactor, a proof-of-work blockchain that introduces a brand new economic model, deep-in mining software, a gaming distribution platform, the RKR token, and their game, Minions of Steel, that's proving their thesis by seamlessly integrating proof-of-work token mining with gaming. Through allowing players to mine with their own GPU while playing, not only do they essentially make gaming free, they make software free, and they present an AI-proof income for everyone. If you want to take a glimpse into the future and get there early, explore Reactor's ecosystem at the link below. Everybody is chasing the sweet nectar of played airdrop. Could the beacon potentially be the most fun iteration of the meta thus far? The beacon is a collision of 3 game genres at once. Think dungeon crawler like Hades, world builder like Animal Crossing, and social MMO like RuneScape. Right now, you can complete quests to unlock the token airdrop and whitelist through our New Frontiers quest link in this episode's description. Follow the Beacon on Twitter for deets on the rite of passagement and the game's global launch. And let us know in the comments how many of the bosses you can actually beat.
Awesome. And prior to, how long have you been with Moonray? And prior to Moonray, what other game development experience have you had so far?
I was working in game development for 14 years. Last year and a half, I was working on Moonray. I hopped into this project to push it from the prototype state, and now we are in the open alpha state in the game release. So basically, I was developing this game and pushing it through all these stages. Before, I was working most of the time in wargaming. On the such free-to-play games as World of Warplanes and other unannounced massive AAA multiplayer vehicle combat games with basically games in developments are very rich in terms of monetization, progression, the world where the players can live in. So it's huge. And now here in Moonray, I am applying all these practices basically to bring a solid project to you.
And how was that conversation like? I find that really interesting because, most games, I would say 99% of the game developers that are in this space right now definitely came from Web 2. I don't think there's a lot of Web 3 native game developers yet. I hope that we're going to get to that point where people who are just starting off their career here in Web 3, but I still don't think we're there yet. How was that conversation like, or how was that journey from going from like a Web 2, like you mentioned, like all these things that just go on in game development, to come into Moonray, a game that's still very focused on like the game mechanics and making sure that the game is fun, but also having Web3 mechanics behind it? What was that transition like?
So first of all, I need to be truth for you that currently in Web3 there are no normal games, real games that are comparable to Web2. And most of the game developers understand it and see the market this way. So they either go to Web3 games to introduce and to innovate their experience of building real games, or to look for a new markets, because competition in the Web2 is very big. It's just like just an element of facts. In the big companies, there are 100 prototypes that are working in parallel each year, and they're just cut. There are issues, all these fires during the in the game development communities, and from that amount of prototypes that just came to release, only 5% are successful. So competition in game development is huge, but this competition creates very big knowledge. It's to make games, you need to learn a lot. You need to learn a lot of things. You need to involve into the process with your full soul, and it's really interesting. It's a really cool process, and because games is always about innovation. It's always about bringing the audience something new. It's like always to be on the frontier, and it looks like, for me, it looks like that all this crypto buzz and Web3 buzz itself, it's already our frontier. So we are, as a humanity, we are starting development as a let's say so informational and informational based species. So everything is going into the IT, and crypto is just another level of this evolution. And all these ideas of owning your assets in the games, of abilities to trade your assets in the games, it's just normal. It's just real. And as you remember that in years ago, we had like marketplace in World of Warcraft and something so, but it was inside ecosystem. And now crypto is provide us possibility to trade these things outside the ecosystem. We are not yet there, but we are moving to their approach, and it will be so. For example, if you remember how the game marketplace evolved. Before, it was a lot of places where you can buy your game and discover your game. Now you have Steam, and it's most of the market. It's most of the market. The same will be with Web3. And when the huge platform will arise, or several huge platforms will arise, they will create the ecosystem where the real transfer and real ownership will be available. And we are just moving to this. And the games, it will be just another step of evolution. You own your stuff, what you play. This is lots of players, real players. They want this to happen, to be able to share their what they grinded, what they yearned to other guys, to learn things. And if you look at how the big companies respond to this, big companies also started to look into this market. Nintendo, Transcend, Ubisoft, other. So it is. I think it's just inevitable future.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to unpackage there about what you just mentioned. I remember when we had Rodrigo, the CEO, I think that's one of the things that really stuck with me and I walked away from. It's like, hey, Moonray is not here to compete with Web3 games. No, Moonray is here to compete in that super competitive Web2 space where it's really, it's really competitive to try to make a game that succeeds out there. You mentioned that 5%, and that's where Moonray's trying to be. That like, hey, we're going to make a game that's not just going to succeed in Web3 in this little niche that we have, but also make a game that will stand the test of time and not, hopefully, succeed in just a regular space. And the Web3 is just a little icing on top. And with that idea in mind of like, hey, with the goal of making a game that's just going to be successful because it's a good game, has Web3, I know a lot of the focus isn't on the Web3 aspect, but has Web3 brought any sort of challenges or any difficulties that would not exist if we were just building it as a regular Web2 game? Has some of that marketplace and ownership brought in extra challenges to the game development itself?
Yes, definitely. Because of the infrastructure, let's say so, specifics like this blockchain transfer of the items, it's all creates some specifics. It's almost the same as in normal Web2 games, so it's where you have payments methods or payment system, because in the Web2 game you had to build or to use some existing payments and inventory managing platforms. In Web3 we have for it blockchain. So it's almost the same, but it works a little bit different. The only thing that is very visible is that if in Web2 we have lots of solutions how to work with it, you just can use a plugin or go to some company and use their solution. In Web3 we almost don't see this solution, or solutions that exist, they are very, very basic.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I think everyone would agree with you. Like, hey, in Web2, we already have very solidified solutions to the problems that most games are going to run into, payment methods, platforms to build on. You have Steam, you have Epic, but in Web3, everything is being built at the same time. And sometimes things will be compatible, sometimes things will not. More often than not, things will not be compatible. The way that you're building your game and the way that someone else is going to be building the game are going to work completely different. And we see this all the time. That's why we have 75,000 marketplaces, 75,000 chains, 75,000 ways to make NFTs and transfer them, 75,000 ways to make tokens. And I think I do definitely agree with you. In order for this space to proceed and succeed along the way, we are going to have to somehow come to certain uniforms and standards that everyone builds on to make things easier. Because at the end of the day, it seems like any new game that comes to the space feels like they have to start at square zero. I know there's a lot of people who are trying to make sort of the building blocks for games to come in and be able to have that boost, but we're still very far away. And I think just you guys' as Moonray's experience in this space and seeing like, hey, we had to build up a lot of our own solutions to these problems really shows that this space has a lot to go. Matthew, I know you had a question here.
Yeah, well, we're on the point of just maybe the differences between what you've done and what game developers do in Web 2 gaming, we don't call it that, and gaming, versus what we're doing over here in Web 3 gaming. One of the questions I have is, it definitely still feels like, I think it's not as bad as it was in maybe 2021 or whatever, but it still feels like traditional gamers hate crypto, they hate NFTs, they hate blockchain. We mentioned Epic and Steam. If you get your game on Epic, and you guys are right now, there's a little notice that says, like, warning, this is a blockchain game, or warning, this is a crypto game. It still feels like they don't want to touch us with like a 10-foot pole. And I'm curious if you think, as someone who has worked in both worlds, if you think there is a better approach to introduce traditional gamers to Web3 games. Like, how do you win over people who maybe would have played your previous games that you were building in Web 2, but won't touch the new one just because crypto is involved in the back end?
Yes, let's say so. For most of the people or players, only word crypto can be like a bad word, can turn them away. It's like a marketing. But Why it's so? It's so because unfortunately, no. Let's get from the different end. Why people don't like some games, especially online and free-to-play games. They don't like them because they think that game developers or these big games don't play fair for the games for the gamers. You need to understand that gamer pay you with his attention as his time, and we need to deliver him the appropriate product for it. And this appropriate product needs to be in value to the time that and attention that was spent by the player. And this is the answer. So the answer is make good games and they will sell. And the people will pay money for good games. It is a very simple answer.
So the reason why traditional gamers hate crypto games is because, frankly, none of the crypto games have been good enough for them to even like it, even if you removed the crypto.
Yes. Because this answer acquires also to other type of games.
Yeah. Wait, I mean, that's pretty simplified. The problem isn't crypto. The problem is bad games.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. And the other piece I would look at is, like, you even reference like free-to-play games. I think when people hate like a whole back end, so not even like the genre of the game, but the back end styles of games, whether that's battle passes or free-to-play or crypto, I think part of that is that we would, as gamers, think, oh man, every time I touch one of these games, it's just predatory. Like it's taking my money, or I have to grind hours and hours and hours for some stupid loot box that doesn't give me the thing that I wanted in the first place. This is way too hard. How do you guys approach like the fact that a lot of people's experiences with crypto games have been, hey, these are predatory? What is the crypto element going to be inside of Moonray and the current game you're working on? That gamers would never say, hey, this is predatory. Like, how do you keep that perception out of it when, if you're outside of crypto, you kind of think it's a scam anyways?
So it's a little bit early to say your exact answer, and we are still working on it. As you know that we only 1 week ago launched an open alpha to see the response of real players, how they respond to it, how they look at our game. And what we see is that the gamers love the game core, the combat core. Definitely, we see some flaws that's on what we need to work on. Like we have not enough content, and we need some more deep mechanics. But if we say about the meta and engagement and monetization, and let's say so, we all need to understand that the games is a business.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Business needs to be profitable. So it need to have some sort of monetization in this or either way. So our approach here is to build as mild monetization as possible, to use the best practices from the free-to-play games that succeeded. For example, I came from wargaming. And wargaming has a lot of experience in providing very mild monetization, very mild attention to the players. Basically, you can play whatever you want and get whatever you want almost for free. And you can you pay only for some things that save you money.
For sure.
We even wargaming, we even deliver the formula. It's like not free to play, but free to win. So you can play, you can win, you can spend your time. But if you want just to be like a little bit more fancy and not and you don't want to spend a lot of time for something to achieve, you can just put very small amount of money and get it. And I think it's relevant for the players because the game should not be grind. The game should not be work. It is entertainment. You should start the game, play it, and entertain, and have fun. And after playing the game, you yes, you can have trembling hands, but trembling should be from the adrenaline that you received from it, from the fun, from all this experience. So this is our formula.
I mean, you make a great point that like when I'm playing games, I want to spend money because I'm having fun. I don't want to spend money because I have to spend money in order to play the freaking game. Especially, and I don't mean like the one-time purchase price of buying a game. I look at like the back end of, I mean, Fortnite's a great example. I have way too many skins in that game. I don't play a lot of Fortnite right now anymore. But dude, in Fortnite's peak, I spent way too much money on skins that literally I didn't need to buy, but I was having so much fun playing the game that I was just throwing money at it like a dartboard or something. Horrible decision financially, but man, I had a blast. And so I think if you can just give a legitimately fun experience that people are excited about playing your game, they're more prone to spend money in your game. If the reason I have to spend in your game is because it's not fun until I spend money to jump far enough ahead to actually be able to play, to actually be able to compete, I think that's probably where people have gotten burned out on not just crypto gaming, but like monetization in free to play games. Yeah, that's interesting. I have one more question. Just
also,
go ahead.
I can also add. It's one of the takeaways important. Also, one way to achieve a business goals with the games is to build a solid community around your game. Because if you build a solid community, the solid and loyal community, they will support your game, whatever it be, and it will also provide some way for the business. So, to summarize, don't mild monetization and solid community. I think it's an answer.
Mild monetization, solid community. That is the success beyond a fun game to making a lasting crypto game. I have one more question just while we're on the point of like crypto Web 2 versus Web 3. Are you specifically were you involved in crypto before coming over to Moonray? Were you a crypto guy? Were you buying stuff? Were you involved here at all? Or no, what was the draw? No. And if no, then what was the draw for you to come over here? When I feel like a lot of times when I see Web 2 guys come over to Web 3, it's because of like the fundraising opportunities. And that doesn't really matter for a game dev. Like you're not concerned about the fundraising so much as you are about making the game, making something fun. What was the draw specifically for you as a game dev to say, hey, I'll jump ship over to Web 3 gaming?
The guys just told me about the cool project with the cool mechanics in a cool style. Basically, Rodrigo showed me the comics, the art style, and I was just really fascinated and wanted to do it. And that it wasn't matter for me. It was if it was Web 2 and Web 3. I was just wanted to do this game, and that's it.
That gives me a lot of hope for Moonray that not just the CEO, but also the head game devs, like that you guys, it is not about meta. It's not about the tech. You're literally just building a great game.
Yeah.
And I think that's
basically our team is all here making Moonray very passionately because we want to create a cool and fun and interesting game. We want to bring the best experiences possible. And Web3 component to it's for us as a game developers, professionals, is only the piece of this puzzle, but the core is the gameplay. And actually, it is a formula for building any games good. If you want to build a good game, gameplay is a core always.
I like that. I think there's one big difference between just regular gaming development and also coming into crypto gaming, Web3 gaming. And that is that a lot of games feel like, hey, in this space, players are now starting to expect you to build out in the open, to really show us those early alphas. Like everyone wants to see the earliest build possible and get their hands on the games as soon as they can. I'm sure that is not the way in just regular gaming. I think games, whenever they release alphas or they release betas, is like, okay, in a month, they're ready to launch to the public. Like it's almost fully fleshed out and completed. How has that experience been like for you as a game developer to see like, hey, Moonray is still so early. Two of your maps right now are still just gray boxes. There's no like aesthetics to it. Like it's just as plainly as you can just to get the game mechanics into it. How has that difference been for like, hey, instead of you're having a game almost fully ready to having a game super early with all these bugs that people can break the game and things like that, but also getting that feedback? How has that difference been like for you?
Yes, it was a little bit strange, but only because I get here from the big corporation. Because in big corporation, they always build products inside and don't show it till the last moment because there is a big expectation only for the corporation name. Like if it is Blizzard, then the product should be awesome. If it's not awesome, it's just fun, then it's shit. So, and this is why the product is kept close in the corporation. But if you look at the indie approach, then they have the same approach as we have. Because when you are doing indie, and Moonray basically is indie game development. So when you're building a game as an indie, you need to build community as soon as possible, and showing your game to the community, communicating with the community as soon as possible is a strategy. Because in this strategy, you receive a lot of feedbacks. You receive lots of feedbacks. Basically, community helps you to build the game. So in this case, we are building Moonray like an indie game, and it's normal. It's normal. It's normal approach. It's and also it is in games of in a professional way. It's even really cool stuff because you know that lots of game development professionals are not they are complaining that they are building closed products for years and then they are closed and they are on NDA, and it seems like they are doing nothing all these years. So for me, this means that Moonray is also have this piece of free excitement that we can show our project and project evolution of our project to the world and to colleagues in order to improve it and evolve it. So it's just different strategy, and this strategy works because this strategy helps us from the inside. It helps us to attract more and passionate and interesting people. From the outside, it helps us to rise the community, the social media, to organically work the marketing and publishing impact. So I think it's a good strategy for us. No, it's a best strategy for the indie game, and we are the indie game.
I really like that. And with this idea, I think community involvement has been brought up a couple times in this conversation, and I think you're completely right. Community involvement, community feedback is essential in any game you're building in the space, because I think I'm with you. I think any game in Web3 can be considered an indie game. I don't think we have any big corporations that are building games yet. Maybe in the future we will, but right now pretty much everything is indie. But with community feedback comes a lot of different perspectives, because in regular indie games, there really isn't a monetary incentive for players who are given these feedback to sort of try to sway the development in one way or another. But here in Web3, when we have tokens, when we have NFTs, when we have speculation, sometimes that feedback comes from a place of like, if the game goes in this direction, my bags will pump. And if the game goes in this direction, my NFTs will lose value, things like that. How has that balance in Moonray taken that into consideration of like, hey, this feedback that we're getting from the community sometimes does come from a good place. Like, hey, players want to see this game succeed because it's fun. and also seeing like, hey, sometimes the feedback that we're getting is just because people don't want to lose out on monetary potential.
Guys, it's the same also in the Web2 gaming, the same, because when you involve people on the early stages of the game to test the game, you need to understand what kind of people are you're speaking with. There are always different types of people, and different people look at the game from different angles, and you just need to understand. You just need to let's say so. Compare their feedback to who they are, and this and only this will give you the pure information. And also, when you have these feedbacks, you always need to have your solid vision what the product you want to produce, and how to this line this feedbacks corresponds to. Because people, players, they see only tip of the iceberg. They see only the product that they see by their eyes. They don't understand the grand plan. They don't understand the grand strategy, and they can be emotional. So to work with the feedback is you need to have experience just to work with it, and also it's only the part of the feedbacks, because you have the feedbacks that is vocal on the forums and Discord. You need to compare it to the experts knowledge and expert feedbacks from the other game developers and new team inside. You need to compare it to the grand vision. You need to compare it to the analytics metrics that you receive. For example, some of the people can say, this weapon is very overpowered, but you look at the analytics and it says it's okay, it's normal, it's just
They're
balanced.
just bad.
or it's just bad. So it's everything need to be compared, and also in sometimes you need to make the special focus test in order to analyze very special precise things. So if you deep dive that in big companies there are there are several big departments that work on this user experience testing. It's a full science of doing it. So we just need to work with all these aspects, and then we understand how to work with these feedbacks.
I really like that. So don't just take feedback at face value. Make sure that the feedback that you're getting as a game, you're not just getting from your players, your investors, but also the people within your team, and making sure that at the end of the day, all that feedback and every direction that goes towards that ultimate goal of the game's vision, initial vision at the end of the day. I really like that, and I think it's really wise. I do have one more question, and it's regarding you've been building here in the space with Moonray for a year and a half. You have 15 years of experience outside of that. And you mentioned some of the difficulties of coming into the space as a game developer and seeing, hey, a lot of the solutions that we need to build for this game to work with the ownership aspects, where you're going to have to build from scratch. Are there some things that you wish, like, hey, that this space in terms of infrastructure should or could have that would help games just starting out in the space, maybe games that are coming from the indie space that want to transition into Web3, or games that are just starting off? Are there things that you wish that Moonray would have had from the very beginning that would have been built for everyone to use, like those building blocks that we were talking about earlier?
Yes, definitely. So if you are speaking about the Web3 component, then basically I would like to see well-made payment solution, well-made wallet creation solution, wallet connection solution, inventory, marketing integrated, and all this should be on 1, 2, or maximum 3 giant platforms like Coinbase or other giants. It will help a lot because in this case you will just take solution for building games like Unity or Unreal. It will be a solution for building games. You will get the solution for the this backend of payments, all this stuff with inventory and crypto stuff, and it will be your solution, and then you will just have to do the great game. You will just have to do the game design. So it will save a lot of time and allow a lot of game developers to go to this market.
Yeah, well said. If you're a developer that's not building games, maybe you should build that. I have a kind of out of left field question. I was just thinking about how you essentially have a hyper inside perspective that maybe the rest of us who are just players or just buyers don't have, because you're building the cool games we're all talking about, right? If I am a gamer, or if I am maybe just a crypto investor and I'm just looking for that hidden gem, maybe a game that tons of people don't know about yet, but it's going to become killer, what should I be looking for at these early stages?
Yeah, you want me to name this exact game?
Well, not even just like one game. Maybe less about like what game should I look at, and more about like what attributes should I be paying attention to, of like, hey, maybe the developers are doing A, B, and C, or maybe the game is doing this specific thing, or they're behaving in this way. Like what would you say are like the signs of a game that has all of the potential to become awesome?
Okay, so basically, coming back to what I was speaking previously, developers, you need to look at the game as a product. You need to see that game is being built by experienced team. Basically, you can check the team profile in the LinkedIn or whatever. You should see their game developers, especially at the top position, with 10 plus, minimum 10 plus years of experience, because in order to deliver basically in order to deliver the great products on the director positions, you had to be in this business for at least for 10 years, better 15 years, because it's games only in experience. So great team first. Second, you need to look at the idea. Idea should not be banal, should not be generic. Because
shouldn't it be a copycat like most of the games in Web3?
Yes, should not be. Yes. Then technology solution. If it is developers should show you in a demo the technology solution that is not a reskin of the assets. For example, it's not a Lyra, Unreal Lyra reskin, for example, like most of the games now. It should be
it's not just like
unique.
Unreal asset generator that they just clearly recycled.
Yes. And they should have a solid roadmap that will show the solid delivering of a game. If you want to have a good game, you can close your eyes on the tokenomics, on all this buzz around the crypto, because it is for different people. This is the people who mostly look for the value of the token, for the payments. If you want to look at a good game, you need to look at what team wants you to provide as a good game experience, and they need to understand how far they want to reach. And these plans should not be fantastic. Like, we have the team of 10 people and we'll do the best battle royale in the world. It's bullshit. To do battle royale, you need at least 150 team developers and at least 30 people in marketing, and it's a huge. And to understand, to look at this, to measure this, if you have data for the fundraising, you can look at the fundraising. You can just see that, okay, the game the game is being in development. Also, one more thing, to deliver a good, solid game now in 2024. It will take the people to do from prototype stage or from concept stage to release, to, let's say, so even to the beta stage. It will take no less than 3 years. No less than 3 years. For Moonray, now we spent, if we count this also starting from the concept stage, yes, it was 2 years and a half. So no less than 3 years. If someone say that it will take less, it's one more red flag. So we can look at the red flags. If there are no red flags, then probably it's something that's worth to look at.
Well said.
So if someone doesn't promise me, if someone doesn't promise me a Fortnite killer in 6 months, then maybe I should pay attention.
Here's this Fortnite killer that you've never heard of. We've never developed a game before. You don't know who any of us are because all of our names are anonymous, but we're killing Fortnite next week. I mean, that's a solid list of like, hey, if you want to find the next killer game, look at the team, look at their idea and how original it is, look at the tech they're building inside of the game and building the game with, look at the roadmap, the vision, if they are realistic, if they can actually accomplish what they're saying they can, and look at how much work they've put into it. Are they promising you something next month when they've only been building a game for 6 months? Not likely. And all of those things essentially describe, there's a couple of games that describes in this place, but one of the games that describes really clearly is what you are building at Moonray. Will you plug the heck out of Moonray? Hey, we want to play your game. Where can I go to play Moonray, to get involved with what you guys are doing right now? And what are you most excited about at Moonray right now?
About Moonray, I like the product we are getting. I absolutely adore working with our art director Shursho. I think the style of the characters, the environments that we create is just mind-blowing. And I want to deliver it more for you because it's such a deep world. It's such a interesting. So I want to bring more for you, but our capacity is limited. It will be such a cool thing. And but it is from the visual part. But from the gameplay part, I think we achieved the perfect formula of very intense, spectacular, and fun and competitive gameplay on the compact arenas. So we'll be focusing on this more. We'll be delivering your more game mode rules, more weapons, more moves, and in the future even characters with some ability to even more diverse and reach your play styles. So it's have a bright future. We just need to do it. We just need to do it.
Cool. Well said. I'm excited. I love seeing your passion and enthusiasm for Moonray. If people want to play right now, where do they need to go?
To Epic Game Store. It's free to play now. So please download and take a look.
Boom. Awesome. Hey, wherever you are listening from, there will be links to Moonray so you can get into their lore, get into the world, check out that art style. I know you mentioned the comic book before. I think it's on Amazon. And then you can also follow a link to Epic Game Store to play Moonray right now. Caesar has won some tournaments. Go meet him out there. I think he's undefeated. They have to keep removing him from tournaments so that other people can win. So go have some fun, play Moonray. Thank you so much, Anton, for joining us.
And I will say, if you guys haven't started the Play to Airdrop campaign, that is going live right now for another month and a half. The first week just ended. Second week is on the way. You have weekly days. You have daily missions. Make sure you go ahead and get that started. If you haven't started that Play to Airdrop campaign, you will find our link with our referral code if you guys want to go ahead and use that to get started in that campaign. So be sure to check that out if you do plan on playing. And you will see me on there. I'm not undefeated, but I would say I'm pretty decent. So
awesome. We will meet you on the battlefields of Moonray. Thanks for listening, and thank you, Anton, for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. It was cool conversation.
We'll see you next time.